Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Kneecap Biting with Smokin, Jeremy B. All right, welcome in, everybody. Finally got my intro to work. How's everybody doing tonight? Well, the Senior Bowl happened, and once again, I was proved right because Malik Willis couldn't hit the broadside of a barn if it was 10 yards in front of him. He ran great. He can throw the arm a country mile, but he's not accurate. Winfrey, the defensive tackle, he was the standout on the defense. Troy Anderson looked good in run defense. Chad Muma and company all looked good. That Jet squad was stacked on the defense compared to what the Detroit team had for defense. Christian Watson looked good. That 30-yard pass in the beginning from Pickett, which was surprising. I didn't expect it to be that accurate with his wobbly deep ball. Sam Howell probably raised his draft stock with his mobility. That Smith kid out of Baylor, that running back, he definitely raised his draft stock. Just about 6 foot tall and 210 pounds and running through everything. Hey, Joseph, things are going great. How are things in Lansing? Austin Hacker, welcome in. How you doing, buddy? Overall, the Jets coach team won 20-10. They tried to make a push late and couldn't come back. They should have, but they didn't. Mother's milk. It's Saturday night. So what do you guys think? What were your observations? Hey, David Pike. How you doing, buddy? Like I said, I don't think any QBs raised their draft stock much except for maybe Sam Howell due to his athleticism. Carson Strong had a strong arm, but again, accuracy and decision-making was an issue with him. Absolutely. Winfrey plays interior, and he's a true nose tackle by build and size. He's a bull rusher with quickness. You could replace Brockers with him in a heartbeat. Don't forget, make sure you guys go like, subscribe, and share the video because on any groups you're on that I'm not on, because I really appreciate the help with just starting out. I'm stoked to have 17 guys. You talking about Christian Watson, the 6'5" guy, or Jalen Tolbert? Both of them look good. Absolutely, one pride. It's funny. They were talking to Dan Campbell. Well, it's kneecap biting with Smokin Jeremy B, right? That's exactly how it goes. Well, you know what? There was no really bad safety play, but no really great safety play. Some of them came up and made good strides in the run game on run coverage. I didn't see a lot of great safety play myself. I only got to watch 3.5 quarters, though, because it was time to leave for work. leave from work and head to my buddy's house. I'm live from Flint Township right now. So, what do you guys think? What was your observations on what you saw? Yeah, especially Willis. I agree. I think he fell to possibly the third or fourth round. Ritter moved up a little bit, but not a lot. It was mostly the running game that scored while he was on there. So I think Ritter's going to stay in that second to third round and as a day 2 pick. Yes, he's athletic. Yes, he's a big quarterback. Yes, he can do a lot, but he didn't move the needle for me. Overall, all the wide receivers, especially that guy that they talked about that's a really smart receiver, that Calvin Austin, he really looked good being able to dig out those bad passes from Malik Willis. Troy Anderson, like I said, Devin Lloyd, Chad Muma, all three of the ones on the Jets defense look good. Yeah, the Jet squad was stacked on defense. I agree. The guy from Northern Iowa is overrated. I think was that Rainman, I think. Oh no, that was the Central Michigan guy who made a few mistakes early. And then the center, I don't know where he was from, but he didn't do well. The right tackle, he was hit or miss. The left tackle was hit or miss. I mean, there wasn't a lot of pressure getting to the guys, but they blitzed only the D-line because it's like Salah. He looks like he likes a defense similar to Patricia's, but with a 4-man front. So he's blitzing his 4 men and then putting everybody else in run coverage or pass coverage, in my opinion. At least that's what I saw in that game. And it's a no blitzing game anyways. That's what stinks about it. That's the only thing I didn't like, is that we should have been able to see the linebackers get a chance at the pass rush. And Troy Anderson mostly lined up on the left outside linebacker slot. I didn't see a lot of good guard play. You know, the problem is his quarterbacks didn't do their job. He called good plays. There was good routes called, and they weren't hitting them. I mean, that one deep pass that Ritter threw and should have been dead in that guy's hands was overthrown by 3 yards. You know, it's hard to judge how he did as an OC. I think the game planning he did was fine. And look at when he used Sam Howell as an athletic quarterback at the end. That was the only time they got a score because they knew he couldn't hit the broadside of a barn. That's just my opinion. Overall, I think both teams called good plays. It's just there was better caliber players on the Jets team. I mean, they had Christian Swatson, they had Sky Moore, they had Troy Anderson, they had Devin Lloyd, they had Chad Muma, they had Jermaine Johnson. I think we almost have to go 2 wide receivers in the draft because the free agent draft class is mostly top heavy or bottom heavy. There's no middle level guys, really. I mean, depending on what other teams re-sign and everything like that. So I almost would rather take 2 in the draft to couple with Cephas if they can get the job done with Reynolds and St. Brown. Because we need depth. We still need a big guy to be opposite Reynolds or Cephas, whoever they put on the outside. There has to be a big guy on that other side, a red zone threat. Somebody has a little bit of speed, though. I don't want a slow guy. Christian Watson, he probably jumped up to almost a 3rd or 4th rounder. I mean, they were talking about him all day at 6'5" and 210, which, yeah, that's small for that frame, but he's got that Calvin Johnson type of speed. I know in the East-West Shrine game, I saw some great play by Jelani Woods. That guy's huge, 6'7", 260, and can move, block, and receive. He'd be a nice compliment, but I don't know where he's slated to go in the draft. Like I said, this is when I start really doing my scouting homework on who's going to go where. Yeah, that's true. I mean, if they had more time to work with him. Yes, David Pike. Randall L. says he does want to take 2 in the draft. I say Tolbert and then get another big guy. I mean, Bell isn't small, but he isn't big. Sky Moore is tiny, but he has a good frame for him at, what is he, 5'8", 5'9", and 195. I mean, that's not bad at that height. And he's fast as lightning. I like Sky Moore a lot. I think they should give those guys 2 weeks to train with the quarterbacks. I mean, and then bring everybody else in. Just because you could see that wasn't. Bella's 6'2", so's Cephas, and Amon-Ra St. Brown's about the same height, and Josh Reynolds about the same height. We've got that 6'2" and under covered. Go Lions, go Rams. Well, I was fine with rooting for the Rams a little bit just because I have been a Stafford fan his entire career, but that one shirt that they came out with kind of went too far, the Detroit Ram shirt. I hate it. You know what? He's not bad, but if we're going to draft a true fullback in the 5th or 6th round, I like that Xander Horvath out of Purdue. Big guy, has speed, played running back and fullback, and he knows how to pass block. He'd be a great complement to the running back room, I think, because he's got the size of a fullback. I think he's like 6'2" or 6'3" and 220, 230. I like that idea. And with him being a true fullback size and running back's type of speed, he might not be going in the first 5 rounds. He might be there in that 6th, 7th round that we could grab him with one of those 3 picks back there. I think Troy Anderson might have played himself up to be a mid-5th round, early 4th pick, maybe earlier. Who knows? But he did really good today in run stopping. He was in on almost every single run stop to the outside. Thank you very much. You have a great day and many blessings to you. One Pride. Christian Watson is 6'5" and 210 and has Calvin Johnson type of speed. He has that big wingspan. I think he could be, if he fills out his frame, he could be that type of player. But he's going to probably lose a little bit of speed. The more weight you gain, the slower you run. That's just how it works. I mean, Drake London couldn't play because he's still rehabbing that injury that he had. I think he's that size of player. I don't think he's that fast, but he's not as slow as Cephas or St. Brown either. So we haven't seen him yet. I'm hoping he's healthy to run at the combine because I'm interested in that. Well, Christian Watson was slated for a 5th round. He probably moved himself up probably to almost a late day 2 pick in the 3rd. I almost think they have to at 2 unless they trade back. I mean, the only thing that could happen is a brain fart and they don't want to protect Lawrence and they go defense with the first pick. I mean, that's just my opinion. I think the Jags should take either Neal or Cross because that's the 2 best tackles there is out there. He's the one out of Texas A&M, Cross, and the other tackle is Evan Neal out of Alabama, who really can play any any position on the O-line. But overall, I say, like I said, the better quality of play was on the Jets side. It wasn't so much the better quality of plays called, it was better quality of play overall because they had the better players, in my opinion. I like Tolbert. I like Calvin Austin. He was a smart receiver. He's a little on the short side at 6'1", but he wasn't bad. I liked Christian Watson a lot. I mean, when he broke it open while Kenny Pickett, he made Kenny Pickett look good. I got to look him up. I'm serious. I didn't pay attention a lot to Michigan State until they played Michigan. That's just my opinion. Yeah, he was a good blocker. He cleared some holes on that right side so Kenny Walker could get a lot of yards. I saw that. Hey, JB, I'm guessing that might be Quinn or Brennan. Yeah, Hayward. Like I said, I got to look him up. Like I said, this is when I start doing my. That's what I thought. McBride from Cal State. Yeah, I think he's that big guy I was talking about, the 6'7" guy. I think Bailey Zappi helped his case a little bit at the end of that game. That's how they got that last touchdown. He looked decent at the end of the game, but you're talking about when they switched out and took out the ones that they considered starters on defense and was just trying to make something happen. I know that one corner slash that they think will move to safety because of his size. He was the one that got the pick that they could get the score with Sam Howell to try and get the game close. Like I said, I didn't see the end of the game. I just heard he was the one that got that one score. Apologize, David Pike, but I'm just saying Bailey Zappi's supposed to be a third-round pick, and he didn't look horrible. He threw a pick. If you'd have been listening, I said Anderson did well and probably raised his draft stock to a mid-fourth, maybe a third at most. It depends on how he does at the combine. Where I see him trading out of because it's easier there's not a lot of easy trades to make at the top of the draft when there isn't a standout QB. And there wasn't a single outstanding QB in this game. Period. End of story. So with that being said, it's really hard to move out of the 2, even the 32, when there isn't standout QBs. Now, if somebody wants to reach for one and give us a Kings Ramson to move up, fine. I'd take it, but I don't see it happening. I think it'll be easier to trade back. I think Willis is going to fall the most just because of how he played at the beginning of the game. He couldn't move the ball downfield. The only thing he could do is run. He proved how fast he is. He's the fastest quarterback in the draft. I think they said he ran when they were doing the testing, 20.38 miles or 5.8 miles per hour. And the only quarterback in the league that runs faster than him right now is Kyler Murray. The one that increased their stock the most, I say it's that Baylor running back, Smith. I can't remember his first name. I know it starts with an A. Because like I said, I was at work, so I was watching in between jobs and cleaning and all that good stuff that you do at the end of the day before you close for the weekend. I sincerely think he raised his draft stock the most, and so did Winfrey. Winfrey probably have played himself out of a day 2 pick into a late day 1. And I wouldn't mind that with the 32nd pick right there if you grabbed Winfrey. Because Winfrey was a beast. Jermaine Johnson was already a first-round talent. He was probably, I think, the 5th or 6th, which I think he's going to, DNs overall, he's probably going to move up to 4th or 5th, which is going to put him right up there with Thibodeau and Karlaftis. He may move up into the early teens instead of the mid-20s. I already talked about Watson. We talked about Watson. We talked about Troy Anderson. We talked about Smith. We talked about the abysmal quarterback play. We talked how great the Jets defense looked versus the Lions coach defense looked. I just think they had better quality of players overall throughout the roster on that Jets coach team. In other news, San Francisco 49ers are hiring Anthony Lynn to be their assistant head coach. And Miami is hiring Mike McDaniels, their offensive coordinator, which means they might have to use Lynn to call plays, which I think is hilarious. I don't think the likelihood is that high because so far he hasn't had a second interview. He already had the one before the Senior Bowl. He hasn't been scheduled for another one. So, and from what I heard, the nod was given to Dennis Allen by Sean Payton. He's the favorite in the room right now. Well, Houston State DB did look good. The running back from Baylor is who did great. Congratulations, buddy. I finally found you. But overall, I was uninspired by the quarterback play. I was inspired by the defensive play on both sides. Just the better defense was the Jets defense. Did anybody see anything different? Yeah, the combine is next. Actually, I heard it was March 3rd through 8th. So it's like a month away. Because next week is the Super Bowl. And then they take a few weeks off, and then it's the combine, then it's free agency. And the free agency starts right after the combine. I don't think there's any way that Willis is going at 2. I don't even see him going at 32. That's just my opinion. Well, as much as I hate to say it, I still want Stafford to win with the Rams. I want them to win, but I'm not counting out the Bengals either, but I think the Rams are going to win it just because they're in SoFi. It's basically a home field advantage, even though they're the visitor in their own thing. They are doing the all white uniforms. I heard. Big deal. Broncos and Steelers are in love with Willis. Let them get him. Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard they like Willis better than Pickett, but probably not after this game. And I'm going to go back to this one, David Pike. The only reason why it don't matter is because the difference between 31 and 32 there really isn't a difference there on what you pick. I didn't say the Bengals won't have some fans there, but your average fans cannot afford to go to the Super Bowl. Did you see the cheap seats? The cheap seats are ridiculous. 5,000 for two of them, that's 2,500 a piece. I know it's because it's in LA and things cost more, but geez, oh Pete. If you wanted to sit sideline, I saw the two sidelines at the 50-yard line. That's like $50,000 for two tickets. That's $25,000 a piece. But the NFL experience is about the fans. It's more than most people make at minimum wage, depending on what state you're in and where you're at. What are my thoughts on the Flores allegations? Well, $5,000 for nosebleed tickets, LOL. The Flores allegations. Well, I'm quite sure the NFL's getting involved in it and looking too. I think they're going to check things out as deep as they can. They say, and they're doing an independent research into the tanking stuff, which could get Stephen Ross in a lot of trouble, which it should. If he actually did that, if there's proof, if there's texts and emails that have documented proof that he offered Brian Flores $100,000 a game to tank to get Burrow, and he didn't want Burrow, so he didn't do it. That he wanted Justin Herbert is the problem, and the GM said, "Well, you're not getting him. We're taking Tua." As far as the racial things, do I think there's a disparity in the NFL? Yes. Do I think it's a major problem? The major problem is with the Rooney Rule in general. You should not have to force teams to interview a minority coach. If the guy is the right guy for the job, he should get the interview, period. What's shaking there, Steve Bauer? Yeah, I'm in Flint Township right now at my buddy Dave's house. Yes, the Rooney Rule is a joke. That is my main thing, is the Rooney Rule is a joke. I think it's horrible. And as far as the whole thing with the Giants, a lot of that was poked by the bear that is the chess master in the NFL, Bill Belichick. He sent a text saying, "Congratulations, Brian. I heard you got the job." Then 2 minutes later sends him, "Oh, it's Brian Dabble. I'm sorry." So that's what started all this getting upset and everything else. And that's when he said, "Screw it. I'm going." I think Flores would have been better suited. Flores would have been better suited to sue the teams and not the NFL. He just committed career suicide. We've talked about the draft free agent wide receivers. You know, you're looking at that mid to low level tier range is what I'm looking at. Because like I said, we've got $35 million in cap. You take out for the rookies salaries, which is another almost $10 million. So that puts us at $23.9. You cut Flowers, you add 11.7 or 11.2, I think it is. So that's going to take us up to around $34 million. You have to re-sign Harris for the linebacker room. You pretty much have to re-sign Walker, or you're searching for another safety. I'm still saying $6 to $8 million for either one of those guys. So that's going to take you back 16 and put you right about $20 million in cap. So therefore, it's going to be somebody like DJ Shark, who had an injury but is probably hungry to prove that he's worth a better contract. Somebody in that $4 to $6 million range. Maybe Andy Isabella, who got buried on a depth chart after he was drafted by the previous regime, the same regime that drafted, Kyler. Well, was it Josh Rosen he was with? Yeah. Absolutely. He does give away first round picks, but he gives away first round picks for talented players. He doesn't do it to move up in the draft unless it's a surefire pick. And I trust in whatever Brad Holmes does. If he stays at 2 and takes somebody, good. If he drops back and he gets somebody in the mid round, I want 3 solid starters between that and 34. That's all I know. We need a playmaker and 2 solid starters. That's what you want out of those picks, no matter what. I understand Brad Holmes can build a roster without first round picks. I've already talked about this. Brad Holmes, as a scout, found less need everybody they drafted, and he had 29, not Pro Bowlers, all pros between the 3rd and 7th rounds. Chris Schilling, Rooney Rule was supposed to solve this kind of problem, but instead created a bigger problem. Yeah, because a lot of times what they're doing is they're calling people they don't want because they know who they want. They're giving them a sham interview. It happens all the time. We've heard about it left and right. Yep, Willis does suck. Hands off. I said that already. I didn't see a single quarterback that moved the needle for me in the Senior Bowl. I saw better quarterback play in the East-West Shrine game by the late guys. Yep, Cooper Kupp and Amon-Ra St. Brown, just to name a few. You're absolutely right. Well, guys, it's been great talking. I did my review of the Senior Bowl. We went over a couple free agent wide receivers. Is there anything else you want to ask real quick before I sign off? If not, this has been Kneecap Biting with Smokin Jeremy B. I want everybody to have a great night, one pride, and let's go.